All right, hey guys. I am out again today, and well, I guess today, whether it be Thursday or Friday, but I will be back Monday. We have a lesson to get through today, and this is going to be our last lesson that we've got before our quiz next week and test over this Unit 3A. This is kind of a combination of two different lessons. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. So a lot of the stuff you are familiar with, it's the slope, it's the y-intercept, it's slope-intercept form. It's the same type of stuff that we have been doing. We're just going to use it a little bit differently. All right. So yeah, here we go. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where it's the equation of a line for a non-proportional linear relationship where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. Okay. The y-intercept is an ordered pair. That ordered pair is going to be 0, and then whatever number it crosses over the y-axis. So it's the point where the line crosses the y-axis. All right. And in context, which since we're going to be interpreting linear equations as well, that's kind of where we tie in what does the y-intercept mean to the problem. So almost always it will be the initial or starting value. And you've seen me put both of these things on there a few times. Okay? All right, so this looks like a lot of work, but it's honestly not that bad. Sometimes, and in these equations that we've got, like on the backside, which are going to be word problem type stuff, you're going to need to use what little information you have to find your slope or find your y-intercept. Okay, and then put it into the slope-intercept form equation, which is what we have here. So I kind of have some examples here of that minimum information, and we're just going to go ahead and solve those. So what we're doing here is we're going to write equations either if we're just given a slope or if we're given a y-intercept and a point that would be located on the line. We found out yesterday that, or Wednesday, that these lines are just made up of a bunch of different points, a bunch of different ordered pairs. So, for example, this first one, this ordered pair would be on whatever line that has this slope, and then we're going to actually find the y-intercept on this. So the first thing that we need to do is write the slope-intercept form. Intercept form. Okay. So we've got y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. However, in this problem, we're trying to write the equation in this slope-intercept form. So what do we know? The slope is m, and in this case, this is a point, so this would be our x and our y. So what you can do is you can take this information and substitute it in down here. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this y now becomes a 3. This m is a 4. This x is a negative 2. So the only thing that we don't know is this b. So what did I just do there? I substituted the numbers that it gave me into the equation. All right. Then what you're going to do is solve for the unknown variable. Could be b if we're given the slope. On this one, you'll see we're actually going to end up solving for m, which is the slope. But yeah, you're just going to solve like this. This is just a regular solving equation right now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take 4 times negative 2 to get me negative 8. And then, if I want to get this b by itself, I'm just going to add 8. 3 plus 8 gets me 11, so where do I want to put that? I'll just put it over here. B equals 11. Okay, so that's what I found from here. Once we've solved for the unknown variable, you're going to substitute again the numbers in back into the slope-intercept form equation. But you want to make sure that you keep the x and y. All right, so what that's going to look like is I will have y equals, okay, because we're keeping the x and y. My slope that was given was 4. We're, again, keeping the x and y. And then we just found that my y-intercept is a positive 11. So that would be plus 11. And that's it. All right, that's it. So I'm going to do one more example, this one here. And then I'll let you guys do this one. Pause the videos on that and we'll go from there. So it says y-intercept is -3. So this is b. The y-intercept is b. 2 and 5 would be an x and a y. All right. So in this case, if I use my y equals mx plus b formula, we have a b, we have an x, and we have a y. So the only thing that we're missing is this m. So we wrote it. We're going to substitute the numbers that we have. There's no m, but there is an x. So I'm actually going to, since this is multiplying, I'm going to switch the order and make it 2m. And then it says b is a -3. Okay? So in this case, we need to get the m by itself. Right? So if we're solving this equation, I'm going to add 3 first. 5 plus 3 gets me 8. 2m comes straight down. When I've got 2 times m, I'm dividing. And that's going to get me 8 divided by 2 is 4. So those will cancel. So m equals 4. You're going to substitute your m in. It gives you the b. So this equation will be y equals 4x minus 3. Okay? What I want you to do is take the next however long it's going to take and try these on your own. All right, so hopefully you paused the video and it wasn't an awkward jump, but here we go. Okay, in this one, the y-intercept was given, so that would be b. You substitute that in, and then you're solving for m to get a slope of m equals -3, so this would be your equation in slope-intercept form. On this one, the slope was given, so I substituted the m in there, solved for the y-intercept of b, and got this. Okay, so that's how we write these guys in slope-intercept form when we're missing something, either the slope or the y-intercept. Okay, the next section here is essentially the same thing. The only difference is that you're not given a slope. You're also not given a y-intercept. So in all of these, the steps are going to be the same. You're going to be solving for the same variable either way. So the very first step is going to be find the slope, which is slope, which is m, right? This is where you're going to have to use that slope formula. So to find the slope, it's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right. I'm going to substitute in, let's call this a 1 and a 2. So the y from my second order pair, this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. Y from my second order pair is 9, minus the y from my first order pair is a 1. X from my second order pair is -2, minus a x from my first order pair. 9 minus 1 is 8. -2 minus 8 is -10, which will simplify to -4/5. Okay? Yeah, that's right, negative 4/5. So this is my slope, all right? So once I have my slope, oh, I forgot to do this. Write the slope-intercept form. You're going to essentially just do the same thing that we did up above. So the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. All right? This is not enough room. Sorry about that. You might be wondering, okay, well, if we did this, right, we did this, we substituted our numbers in, right? We had the x and the y, those were given. Down here, you are given two ordered pairs. So you're going to use one ordered pair. In your equation for x and y. So I'm going to use this first one. So this means that 8 will be my x, 1 will be my y, and I have my slope here. Okay? So, let's see what happens. My y is 1. My slope is negative 4/5. Don't be afraid of fractions. My x is an 8. Plus b is there. So I'm going to take negative 4/5 times 8. Negative 4/5 times 8 is, let me convert that. It's not pretty, but it is what it is. So I've got 1 equals, this is negative 32 over 5 plus b. The last step is to add this 32 over 5. So let me do a couple things here. 1 equals negative 32 over 5 plus b. I'm adding 32 over 5. Zoom in here. Because it's a negative, that's why I'm doing it. All right, because this is a negative 32 over 5, so that's why I'm going to add positive, right? So I'm going to take this 32 over 5 plus 1, and it's going to get me negative 27 over 5. Okay, so this was a really, really ugly one, right? So for this first one, I'm not even going to have you guys do that one. We'll just kind of continue this into here. So if my slope is y equals mx plus b, my slope is negative 4/5, my b is negative 27/5. All right, so in slope-intercept form, this would be y equals the slope times x, and then I guess minus 27 over 5. That was a really gnarly one. Yeah, did not intend for that to happen. So if you're kind of lost on that one, let me try another one here. Let me see which one of these two is going to work out okay. I think this one will be okay. This is the one I'm going to do. So don't do that one. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to do just this right here, kind of all down here, because I didn't realize it was going to take me so much space. Okay, first thing is, first thing that we're going to do is we need to find slope, right? It's y equals mx plus b. No, it's not. I lied. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? From here, you're going to substitute in your numbers, right? So x, y, x, y. The y from my second ordered pair is negative 4. The y from my first ordered pair is minus, so it'd be a 4. The x from my second ordered pair is 5. The x from my first ordered pair is 3. Okay? Negative 4 minus 4 is going to be a negative 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. So in this case, our slope is going to be a negative 4. That should work better. Okay, that should work better. So we found our slope. Next we need to find the y-intercept. So pick either one of these. I'm going to use this one because they're both positive. Just positive numbers are better. So here's your m, and then, yeah. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This y comes from this ordered pair. This slope comes from what we just found. This x comes from the ordered pair that we chose, plus b. Yeah, this one's going to turn out a lot nicer. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And then we are going to add 12. 4 plus 12 is 16. So 16 equals b. All right. So we have our b. We have our m. This is going to be y equals negative 4x plus 16. Okay. It's a lot of work. And for the amount of space that we have, like there's just not a lot of room. So that's why it looks way worse than it is. And this one had a terrible fraction. Didn't know that that was going to happen until we started to get into it. Okay. But yeah, that one had a real rough fraction. Okay. We can definitely take a look at these on Monday. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the back side. So there's just 3 questions back here. And there are 3 different types of questions, and you're going to, well, let's read them, okay? So this first one says, the cost of electricity to run a computer for a certain amount of time is shown in the table. Write an equation in slope-intercept form and find and interpret the slope and y-intercept. So we need to find the slope, we need to find the y-intercept, and then we need to write the equation and interpret both of them. Very first thing that we have to do is find the slope. Now slope can be called, and we've done this before, slope can be called the rate of change, which is going to be the change in our x and the change, or the change in our y's over the change in our x's. So in this case, we have, these are x and y's. So essentially, what these are is ordered pairs. And I'm only going to pick 2 of them because I only need 2 of them. But what I'm going to do here is the exact same thing. Oh, a nightmare. You see, the exact same thing that I did on this side. Okay? So we need to find our slope first. So if we're finding the slope, maybe call this 1, call this 2. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y from my second ordered pair is 24 minus the y from my first ordered pair, which would be 15. And then the x from my second ordered pair minus the x from my first ordered pair. 24 minus 15 is, I think it's 9. Yeah. 8 minus 5 is 3. So my slope is going to be 9 divided by 3, which is 3. Put that in. The equation is y equals mx plus b. I just found my slope. So I know it's going to be this. And then my b is my y-intercept. Okay? So once you have your slope, again, these are 2 ordered pairs. These are the points. So I'm going to substitute this into the slope-intercept form. Y equals, yeah, you can see that. Y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b, where m is my slope and x and y are the ordered pairs. You can pick either one. I'm going to choose my smaller one because I'm probably thinking it's going to be easier. Slope is 3. The x comes from here. Ain't no way this is going to work out like this. 3 times 5 is 15. And then to get b by itself, those will cancel. So my y-intercept is b. No, b is my, sorry. Yes, my y-intercept is b. My y-intercept is 0. Okay? So you can either leave it as y equals 3x, or if you want to fill that placeholder of the y-intercept, it would be plus 0. Okay? So now what does this 3 mean to the problem? So slope is like rate of change. So we've got time and cost. This 3, I would say that the cost is $3. Time is h, so it'd be in hours. So the cost is $3 per hour. And then if I had more room, you know, cost is $3 per hour to run a personal computer. All right. The y-intercept, remember in the context of the problems, in context, it is known as the initial or starting value. So I would say the y-intercept is that the initial cost is $0, just because that is there. Okay? That's the first one. Honestly, was not as bad. So I'm just going to abbreviate intercept form. Yeah, all right. Next one. It says the total cost of a birthday party for a certain number of people is shown in the graph. So it's this. Write an equation in slope-intercept form and find and interpret the slope and the y-intercept. Now this one, we could do a couple things, okay? What we could do in this, and if you want, let me use straight edge. If you want, we can do this, okay? Draw your line. If you want to, you don't have to. To find the slope, since I have a line, and this is actually probably what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these 2 points here. And I'm going to find my rise and my run, because that's what slope is as well. It's a rise over a run. Okay? Now we kind of, and this is really small here, so bear with me. You're looking for this rise. Some of you might say 3 because it's got the 3 boxes, okay? But each of these boxes is not going up by ones. So if I'm looking here, the halfway point between 100 and 200 would be 150. And then the halfway point between 200 and 300 would be 250. Now, why is that important? Because if I'm starting at 100 here and I'm going up to 250, what is that change? 100 to 200 is 100 plus 50, that would be a change of 150. So your rise, so if I do slope equals the rise over the run, it'd be a rise of 150. And then my run is going from 5 all the way over to 15. So 5 to 15 is a change of 10. So I got 150 over 10, which means that my slope is 15. So my equation is going to be y equals 15x. Okay. Now to find the y-intercept, if the graph was, like if these were smaller, like if they weren't going up by 50s, we could take a look and see what that would be. But because there's a lot of change in between those two spots, I'm going to do what we did up here. And I'm going to use a point, and I'm going to use this slope. I'm going to use the easiest point that I know, which is this guy, and that is at the ordered pair of 5 and 100. All right? So I'm going to use, again, this idea here. Y equals mx plus b. My y, according to this, would be 100. My m is the slope that we found, so that would be 15. My x is this x in the ordered pair. All right. 15 times 5, 75. So I've got 100 equals 75 plus b. And then I'm going to subtract 75, which I think is 25. Yeah. I've got 25 equals b. So my y-intercept is 25. So yeah, just throw it in here. Y equals 15x plus 25. All right. When we interpret the slope, that means what does 15 mean to this problem? It looks like we've got cost and we've got people. So I would say the cost per person is $15. Okay. And then again, the y-intercept is the initial cost. So I would say, what is this talking about? A birthday party? All right, so the initial cost of the party is $25. All right. So that's the second one. I know that this is a long set of notes, but one, it's the block day, so plenty of time. And two, like I said at the beginning of this thing, we're kind of doing two different sets of notes. Okay, kind of one with how to find slopes and y-intercepts when you're not looking at a graph, and then two, word problems. Okay, again, I promise you we will practice this stuff on Monday. All right. Okay, last one. After 2 hours, a car travels 70 miles. After 2.25 hours in the same trip, the car travels 78.75 miles. Write an equation in slope-intercept form and find and interpret the slope and y-intercept. Same thing. Now, the only information that we have is in this writing, okay? But we know that we have hours, and we know that we have miles. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Hours is time, and time is always x, right? So if I go ahead and set up time is x, miles would be y, okay? If we've got 2 hours, we've gone 70 miles. If we've got 2.25 hours, we've gone 78.75 miles, okay? Again, these are ordered pairs, so we can use that equation from the front side. the y2 minus y1, right? Call this 1, call this 2. I'm going to go ahead and just do that out to the side here. To find the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y from my second ordered pair is going to be 78.75. The y from my first ordered pair is going to be 70. Figure out what that is. The x from my second ordered pair is 2.25 minus the x from my first ordered pair, which is just 2. Use a calculator. 78.75 minus 70 is 8.75 over 2.25 minus 2, it's just 0.25. And then I'm going to use a calculator because, again, I want to see exactly what this is. So 8.75 divided by 0.25. It's 35. Okay. We've got our slope. We have 2 points. I'm absolutely going to use this one because it's much easier than this one. So I'm going to go ahead and write y equals mx plus b. Substitute in the 70 for the y. And I'll circle this. That's the one that I'm using. The 70 for the y. The slope we found to be 35. The x from the ordered pair that I'm using is 2. 35, you're kidding me. 35 times 2 is 70. And then when you subtract 70, you're going to get 0 equals b. So that's kind of a bummer. Two of these things ended up with a y-intercept of 0. But we can still interpret it, and I'm still going to put it in my equation. The slope is going to be essentially the miles per hour. So the car travels 35 miles every hour. And then the y-intercept of 0 is, I guess, the initial amount of miles driven. So if y is going to be miles, so the initial amount of miles driven is 0 miles. Okay, and that makes sense. If you've spent 0 hours driving, then you have gone nowhere. So it does make sense. It's kind of weird and mathy, but it makes sense. Okay, I promise. That's it. I'm done. I will see you guys on Monday. Make sure that you have the well, what you're going to do now is you're going to work on the study guide for Tuesday's quiz. We will go over it Monday, so make sure that you bring that back. If you manage to finish that, because it looks like, according to this video, there might be quite a bit of time left. If you manage to finish that study guide, make sure that you have all of your missing assignments in. For me, the 3A.8 was an exit ticket, the 3A.6 was an exit ticket, and then what we did on Wednesday with those 30 questions over slope, make sure that that is completed on Canvas. We'll do damage control on Monday, but other than that, I will see you guys then.